whatever. Guess I'm thinking of Christmas too. But the bill was not repealed. Now, more than 100 years later, the sellout is still the law. Nor is it likely to be repealed as long as it is legal for financial institutions to contribute to political election expenses. The best that the United States can hope for is that someone else will take the lead and show the way. One success would create the political climate for action elsewhere. And of all the countries in the world, in the G20, I should say, Canada is in the best position to act. We have all of the essentials. We own our central bank outright. 100%, thanks to Jerry McGeer, whose picture was up on the wall a few minutes ago, an MP from British Columbia, who talked Mackenzie King into buying the Bank of Canada, which was a privately owned institution, started by Prime Minister Bennett. But he nationalized it, and thank goodness, because it paid us well, and it is hopefully our salvation as far as finances is concerned. The only thing missing is the political will to innovate, even when the need is so obvious. And this distresses me because I have seen the system work. Very briefly, in 1938, there were no jobs in Canada. Even worse than it is now, but it's the same sort of situation. In 1939, the war came along. It wasn't long before everyone was working. We were in the Army, Navy, Air Force, building factories, building munitions. We reached an historic low of 1% unemployment. And I'm not recommending that because that would be inflation. But we could cut our present unemployment level by 50% with the plan that we're recommending at the present time. And then after helping to get us out of the Depression, well, I forgot my best line there, I guess. You might ask, well, where did the government get the money to get out of the Great Depression to help finance the war? And the answer is, the Bank of Canada printed it. Printed, printed it. That's where it came from. And they made it available to the Government of Canada at near zero cost. I won't go into the mechanics tonight because this isn't necessary, but you can read all about it in other places. And that system that got us out of the Depression and through the war continued after the war. For 35 years. Well, 35 years in total. About 30 years after the war. And it was used for all of our infrastructure. We used it to build the Trans-Canada Highway. We used it to build the St. Lawrence Seaway. We used it to build the Dew Line. The Dew Line, if you're not familiar with it, was the distant early warning line, radar plan that went right around the periphery of our country. Very, very expensive. We probably used it to build the Gardner. We built all sorts of things, as well as laid the foundation for our Social Security system, all with help from the Bank of Canada. And we accumulated no significant debt. And our inflation was the same as the average for the OECD countries. So this myth that is inflationary, to use government-created money, is nothing more than a myth, provided you introduce it in a sensible way. Well, the system worked like a charm, and it gave us the best 35 years of the century. Then in 1974, the Bank of Canada Governor, Gerald Bowie, adopted monetarism. I don't know if he knew what it meant or not. And he changed the rules. He stopped worrying about his shareholders, us. And he started taking his instructions from the Bank for International Settlements, in Basel, Switzerland. Incidentally, in 1974, you seldom saw anyone sleeping on the streets in Toronto. There's the outcome maybe under the viaduct somewhere, but there weren't many. And there were no food banks in Canada. Not one. Today, we're 2,065, and the need is still growing. Well, the Bank of Canada took orders from its Bank for International Settlements with its Nazi roots, both before, during, and after World War II, and stopped lending cheap money to us. And I'm going to skip the next little bit here, which is, they not only did that, but they brought on two recessions, 81, 82, 90, 91. Disastrous, both financially and socially. They put the country in debt so that we now have $615 billion at the federal level, probably as much again at the provincial and municipal levels. Would you like to hazard a guess as to how much interest we have had to pay on the debt between then and now? Well, there may be somebody here that knows.
1.1 trillion, something like that.
$1.17 trillion from fiscal year 74-75 to fiscal year 2014-15. That's trillion, not billion, not million. 1.17 trillion. Enough to do all of the things that we haven't done in education, healthcare, the squabble that's going on now about a little more funding for healthcare, for infrastructure, for the arts, and to do right by our Aboriginal brothers and sisters, which we haven't done. We've broken all of our promises practically. And there was more than enough money available to do it if we had used it for these things instead of paying it to the money lenders, which was not necessary.